You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the Town of Swanzey.
26th meeting of the Swansea Planning Board here at Whitcomb Hall. I'll begin with the roll call. Scott Self, I'm here. Michael York. Here. Richard Lane. Here. Brandon Self. Here. Victoria Ames.
Here.
Mark Scalera is not here. Jane Johnson, alternate.
Here.
Is here, okay. Good thing you spoke up. Usually see you over there.
Yeah.
And Stacey Goodell, alternate. Here. Charlie Harbeck, alternate. Here. And Selectman's Rep Mark LaBelle. Here. Is there. Okay, I will see, let's see, Stacey, I'm going to see Jane for Mark, and get on with the agenda. We have the approval of minutes of a February 12th, 2026 meeting, and we have under public hearings, we have Planning Board 26-002. That's a boundary line adjustment. Cardinal Surveying and Land Planning have submitted a boundary line adjustment application on behalf of Joanne and Curtis Mead and the Town of Swanzey. The application proposes an adjustment to the a shared boundary line between tax map 235 lots 72 and 73. Both lots are located in the residence district. Item B, Planning Board 26-003. This is a minor subdivision. Again, Cardinal Surveying and Land Planning have submitted a minor subdivision application on behalf of Richard Algeni to subdivide the lot located at tax map 104 lot 10. Property is located in the Village Business District. Under discussions and other business, we have ongoing site plan review regulation discussions, and 5 would be adjournment. Bringing us to the top, we have a regional impact motion. Not much on
minutes first.
You're making the motion?
Of minutes or?
Pardon me? Regional impact? You want to make the motion that nothing on tonight's agenda requires us to notify surrounding towns, or do you think there is?
So moved.
So moved, okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Now we're down to approval of the minutes of February 12th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Motion by Michael York to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Richard. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I have some discussion on that with just a minor clarification, and this would be on, looks like the last page, just a second here. Yeah, pretty much the last page, paragraph above adjournment, and actually it's that sentence up there. It talks about the water company there, and anyways, that last sentence says, the water company equipment and pipes are in good condition. The main concern, capacity, is the reason for adding the water tower. It's plenty of supply there.
Okay.
Everyone agree with that?
Yep.
Okay, that's the only change I have. Anybody else? Then all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Great. We are down to public hearings, and this is the first one, which is the Planning Board 26002, and that is the boundary line adjustment. And I will open up the public hearing. And let's go down and check this here. And this is just a boundary line adjustment, actually, to just shore up something that was missed years ago. And this is between Curtis and Joan Mead and the Town of Swanzey, 829 Old Homestead Highway, and residential zone, map 72, 73. And I will ask Cardinal Surveying to come up and explain what we're doing here for the rest of us and see what that looks like.
All right, Wendy Pelletier from Cardinal Surveying. So I was hired by the Meads to do a boundary, to find their boundaries initially, questioning who owned some pine trees adjacent to the cemetery. So they live on the corner of Day Road and Old Homestead Highway, and this is the cemetery. In the process of doing that, we located 3 pins that are in for them, and we ended up, the corner right here is missing. There's no pipe there. So we ended up surveying out 2 more lots, projecting the lines. In doing so, based on the 1983 plan that was done, which created these lots. So the surveyor had come all the way up to this corner. Don't know what he was doing. He never took into account the granite posts that really define the cemetery. And so in doing so, we realized that the granite posts, as shown, are actually on the Mead's property, and there are gravestones actually on the Mead's property. So I suggested that we hold the line of granite markers as the line for the cemetery, as it should have been done back in 1983, so that they don't own anybody's grave sites.
Really good thing. So that's in a nutshell what you're doing.
That's in a nutshell.
Yep, okay. And from the board, do we have any questions on this? How about from the public? Okay, then I will close the public hearing and take no more public testimony. Thank you. Well, it's pretty straightforward, as we can see. Just adjusting it there, and it makes sense what they're doing. So,
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
motion by Michael York to approve the lot line change, or, yeah.
I'll second it.
Boundary line adjustment, second by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, got that one. Now we're down to the minor subdivision. Let's have a look at the application, and we're gonna see if it's complete or not. Vision, and it's at 8 Sylvan Way in Swansea. And okay, and it's Cardinal Surveying and Land Planning is the surveyor, and it is, like I said, 8 Sylvan Way, and it's in the Village Business District. And the purpose is to subdivide map 104, lot 10, into 2 residential lots. You can see that. 2, that's good. And let's see, looking for a waiver, I believe. Let's see,
Yes.
several waivers there.
12, 14, 15,
Yeah.
and 17.
So map 104, lot 10 is an existing single-family lot located on Sylvan Way. The lot is located in the Village Business District, Village Business 1, that is. The lot is 1.56 acres. We are proposing to subdivide the lot into 2 residential lots. Following waivers are requested. The number 12, which would be topographical contours, there is less than 2 feet of elevation change across the lot. It's pretty flat, you don't need those 5-foot duals. Number 14, perk test and test results. The lot already has town's water and sewer right in front of it. Soil mapping types, slopes and boundaries. The lot is a small lot, and it's flat and has town water and sewer. In other words, correct. Open space to be preserved. The lot is a small residential lot with no extra land for open space. And following items are not applicable would be location of groundwater, has none. Deed restrictions, there are no restrictions. Final road profiles and cross-sections, there's no proposed road development, of course. See drainage, the lot is extremely flat with little to no runoff or drainage issues. State subdivision approval, existing lot has town water and sewer. So, back up to the waivers they're requesting, it's number 12, 14, 15, and 17. So,
I'll make a motion that we grant the waivers.
Here. There. So, motion by Michael York that granting the waivers would not have an adverse impact on public health, safety, or abutting properties, and that granting the request is consistent with the intent and purpose of the rules waived. Is that your motion?
That's it.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Brandon. Is there any further discussion? Then all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, the waivers are granted, and the application appears to be complete. Do we have a motion on that, or motion for completeness of the application? Anybody?
I'll move this complete.
Motion by Jane that the application is complete and ready to go to public hearing. Is there a second? Second by Mark. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Good. So now I will open up the public hearing, and if you could come up and describe what you're doing.
Cardinal surveying again. So this is a proposed two-lot subdivision. This is a 1.5 acre lot on Sylvan Way. It is Route 32 is right here. So this is the second lot in. So all we're proposing to do is basically split it in half. This lot is encumbered by, there's an easement up here, but it's still, they can use the whole thing for frontage even though there's that easement there. Town sewer water? Yep. Yes, yep. It is in the village district, so it's village business, right, one. So half acre zoning, 100 feet of frontage.
Another pretty simple one. Do we have any questions from the board? Do we have any questions from the public? Yes, sir. Could you identify yourself, please?
My name is David DuBois, I'm a butter. I would like to see, I haven't seen any like map or anything about this.
Hard.
Just facing you
It's
now.
hard to. Yeah, so this is his entire lot. Okay, this is Sylvan Way and Marie. Here from the back.
No, I'm right on, I'm right on 32.
Right.
So you're to the right there.
In the rear.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so, he's splitting this in half, basically. Leaving the house on that parcel.
Okay, so this is existing dwelling.
Yes.
You can make it all further back.
Yeah, there's a utility box, yeah, we're back here, yeah.
Yeah, that's just an easement on there. I don't think there's a spot where they say the dwelling is going to go. I don't think.
No, whatever.
That's an easement.
There's no problem
Yeah.
right now. Right.
Okay.
So it is one, just so you know, there are corners back here that we tied into that we don't.
Yeah, I can see the markers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Any other members of the public like to take a look here? And hearing none, then I will close the public hearing and take no more testimony. Thank you. So another pretty straightforward piece. They're putting a line right down the middle of that lot, making it 2, and it meets the requirements of the zoning. Anything else?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Motion by Michael York to approve the subdivision. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by, was that Victoria? Victoria? Is there any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, that's approved. Thank you.
They're on a roll.
Well, that brings us to item, let me have a look here. Item 4, discussions and other business. That's a site plan review regulations discussion. Ongoing, we've been having it. So we all have a copy of the revised regulations here, correct? Correct.
Correct.
Do we have any comments on the revised regulations?
That's some question. And it refers to under 6 on approval, under C
Yep.
and D.
And D's on another page, correct?
Yes, it's on the back
Okay.
side of that same page.
Yep, go ahead.
The question I have, and we may have already discussed it, and I've just forgotten, but seems to be a conflict on the verbiage of the effective date. Because one is saying approval becomes effective after 3 copies of the site plan are signed, etc. And back on C, we're saying this from the board's approval.
Yep, so, yeah, that has been, and I thought we had changed that last time to say something like the code enforcement officer wouldn't issue a certificate of occupancy if they, on and on. You know, the word effective, it can be in there, it's been in there for a while there, but really, no one really knows what it means, I don't think. You know, it's effective after it's been approved, because effectively, they can start their process. But again, it says effective after, you know, the chairman signs it and all. It could read that they don't get the CO until it's been signed and they've put all the, let's see, sign on the chairman.
Yeah.
What we said last time was no CO shall be issued until 2 copies of the site plan
Yeah.
are signed by the,
Yeah, I think we did say that last time. Would that clarify it?
My question, I think, is more to when the clock starts.
It clearly states the clock starts, and I think
On
up in
approval.
C you're talking about?
You know, on C,
Yep,
but then again, you're talking about approval becomes effective.
yep, so again, that was that word effective in there, and we had changed it to get effective out of there because we don't know what it means, and put in that they won't get a CO until this is, you know, 2 copies have been signed and all the conditions have been put on the plat.
Right.
That made it more, you know, effective, I guess, even though we aren't using that word. It made it effective as to what we're talking about there. We're talking that they don't get a CO unless they put all those conditions on the plans, because sometimes they don't. We don't get as-built sometimes, or we have in the past not gotten as-built. So this ensures that we do get as-built.
We're on D, right?
We are on
Yes.
C and D.
on that, yeah, we are on D, yeah, talking about removing the word effective and putting in what Victoria had just
yeah, no,
stated.
we said last time, no CO shall be issued until, and we said last time 2 copies. Remember,
we
we
did.
knocked
Yeah.
that down. 2 copies of the site plan, et cetera, et cetera.
No certificate of occupancy shall be issued until 2 copies of the site plan are blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the rest stayed the same.
So D has no effect at all then on the clock.
I don't think so, unless you think it does.
Well, I just want to be sure we're,
Yep, because we're talking about a CO there, and we're talking about the expiration of the site plan on the other
it's
one.
all under approval, under that title.
It is under approval, but it clarifies what the approval means. Yeah, we have approval, but this clarifies what that approval means, and it tells you when the approval, well, when it starts, within 1-year period, you know, it's after the board approves, let's see, after 1 year, yeah, following the date on which the board votes to approve or conditionally approve the application. And that would be at the hearing, or afterwards, you know, the board can extend it and approve it another time, but I think, to me anyways, it states when the board approves, which is when we vote to
That
approve.
part I agree with
Okay.
until, 100%.
But you're still,
I just want to make darn sure that we're not tying our hands or being contradictory under D.
yep, and I don't think we are if we use it, that the CO will not be issued.
Right, we take
Because
that.
we're talking about a different thing, that CO,
Okay, so we put that under something different?
under D, right? As it was stated under D, that no CO will be issued until 2 copies of the site plan are signed by the chair and the conditions have been put on the plans. Because we're giving them 1 year to start operations there, or substantial
Progress.
improvements to the property. So after that, they could continue for several more years until they get the project done, perhaps, but they still won't get that CO if they don't give us as-bills, is what that covers. Think?
Right, they can build a building, but they can't occupy it.
No, I understand.
And it doesn't have anything to do, right, we aren't shooting ourselves in the foot for that item.
Yeah, I just want to be darn sure, because we almost got into that situation with Plainview.
Right, that's because we had other wording in here which is no
Right.
longer in there.
We had a lot of screwed up wording in that one.
Okay, so, I think we're good on that. So, I had some comments here, and I'm going back to under number 6, on that first page, 6, approval, of course, and we're down to the double I, where it says, and we're talking about things they have to do 2 for substantial development on the property. And number 2 says construction and completion of drainage improvements to service the development in accordance with the approved plans. But then go back to go over the next page and go to 4, and it says construction and/or installation of basic infrastructure intended to support the development such as drainage or utilities. We're saying the same thing in both of those. So the double I one, we could cross that right out and just leave it in number 4 that says construction and/or installation of basic infrastructure intended to support the development such as drainage, and we could put and utilities installed in underground conduit and prepared for the future connection in accordance with the approved plans. The drainage appears twice in there.
I think I printed an old version.
Pardon me?
I think I printed an old version.
Oh,
I think all of these.
did we
issues-
take that out already?
I probably already did.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense, I think, doesn't it? Just leave it with the infrastructure, because that means underground anyway. And drainage, obviously.
Yeah,
is
So
underground.
that, does that become 2?
It becomes, let's see, actually, it probably becomes 3 if you go down, because we're taking out one of those. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in there. If we take out one, that'll become number 3, I believe. But yeah, maybe this is an old copy. I don't know, like Adam said, I think we have talked about this before.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what we decided on last time.
But
So,
if we take that double, or you have the same one that we're looking at?
Yeah,
do you?
same one, yep.
Okay, so if we take that double I out, because it talks about drainage, and let number 4 cover it,
yeah.
and add the word "and" between drainage and utilities. It says drainage or utilities, we're saying drainage and utilities.
And utilities.
That would be another item that they could prove that they've done substantial development of the property.
So I'll just shift the 3 and 4 up 1.
Yeah, and it'd become
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah. So then there will only be 3. Correct, I think that's, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so also we have, let's see, on that same page, oh no, we're on to we're under conditional approval, number 7. There it is right there. There's no change to the first 3 on number 7 there, because that's conditional approval under RSA 676 for I, small I. And that's a whole different ballgame about approving site plans with conditions that are just administrative in nature and permits and things like that, which don't require the public hearing or let's see, how do we word it here? Yeah, the compliance hearing, we use that in the other term, so they don't require that, so that stays as it was.
We did, I think, again, we're maybe working off different versions, but we had corrected the triple I to say involve the applicants instead of the applications.
Involve the application.
Oh, yeah.
It has to
applicants.
be application because
Okay.
Applicant ties it to the person and not
Okay.
the project.
Okay.
Sorry,
We'll leave it that
I meant
way.
to put a note in there.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the more we have this discussion, I think I'm gonna probably need to pass this through Cordell anyway, when it gets completed.
You're going to what?
I probably need to pass this through Cordell once it
Oh,
gets
yeah,
completed. So I don't want anybody to fret about any potential legal issues because I would like him to look at it.
He'll have a look.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, we'll just get the basic wording that we want. So we have B on the left-hand side there, which is what we have now. And it says, if a conditional approval has been granted pursuant to RSA 676:4 I, small I, the conditions shall be met within 1 year after the date upon which the board voted to approve, otherwise the approval is null and void. That was in there, and I'm thinking that should stay in there, because then we move over to the other ones that says, we've got a paragraph in here that says, all other conditions shall be recorded on the plan and shall require a compliance hearing, and notice RSA. So, but the rest after that is confusing to me. And it says, if an application is conditionally approved, the applicant has 1 year to meet the conditions following the day the board approved. If an application is conditionally approved, the applicant has 1 year starting the day following the board's decision to meet any conditions which shall be met prior to signing signature of the planning board chair on the plan. It almost kind of says a lot there that we might not need to say in there.
I think keeping it the same. I think if we change that section to no change and just revert it back to old language, that's fine.
To what it was, B?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's, if the conditional approval, it just says it's, yeah, the 1 year limit on that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Keep it at that. So then we have underneath there about the applicant may request a reasonable extension of the time limit for satisfying the conditions prior to the planning board granting a conditional approval. But that kind of means that when the planning board grants a conditional approval, it is when we have the hearing and when we vote on it afterwards to approve or not. We're not separately approving the conditional approval. The conditional approval is when we discuss it and say, okay, we want this condition, that condition, and so forth on there. So that's a conditional approval, and we approve it that way. So it kind of contradicts itself about the time limit there, a reasonable extension of time limit for satisfying the condition prior to that vote. We can't really talk about a request for an extension before we've even voted on it. So I'm just suggesting we change the wording around, because we do need to, be able to grant someone an extension on that, because sometimes they might not be able to have a permit or whatever they need, or get it on the plan. But I'm proposing something like this. The planning board may waive the requirement for action within the time period specified in subparagraph, let's see, B and C, and consent to such extension as may be mutually agreeable. That way, if the planning board agrees on it and the applicant agrees on it, we can do it. And it refers back to B and C, which B is for the conditional approval. Let me get back here. And C is for the site plan approval. Right, let me see if I'm correct here. C is site plan approval, yes. And C is the all other condition. Okay, yeah. So do we want to add both of those in there? One of them, the B, is for that site plan approval, and the C is for the condition.
Yeah, so we started this whole discussion last time with a nice clear sentence that said there are 3 kinds of approvals that the planning board, we can do the site plan, we can do the
Approval without conditions,
approval.
a conditional approval, and approval with conditions.
Yes,
I think we
and
can.
then there was the whole compliance hearing. So I just feel like I need to really break those 3 things apart very clearly, okay? Whatever it takes to do that, because otherwise it's so muddled.
I agree completely. So I am very confused because we have at the very top, the very first page, under 6 approval, the first thing is that the planning board may attach such conditions. And then you see I added a note. I think all of that should just be moved down to 7, and then in 7, we should have 2 sections. Section 1, compliance hearing, section 2, not compliance hearing.
Yes,
Because
yeah.
I don't know why I'm getting so confused with having conditional approvals at the approval section, but not in the conditional approval section.
Yeah, it should be brought down, right? Yeah, because
So if we want to break it apart, like,
3 steps.
we can, but we
3
don't
steps.
need we've already covered the conditional approval, but we haven't covered the approval with conditions. So the conditional approval is the RSA that we referred back to, and that can stay in there. That's what we didn't change, and that's that. Conditional approval is RSA 6764I, small I. And that is granted to us through the RSAs that we can do an approval without a public hearing, or a conditional hearing, only for those matters that pertain to that. And that's in there, but we don't cover the approval with conditions. And we may say that we may have a combination too. There may be an approval that has conditional approval to it and approval with conditions. And you can, because lots of times you need a permit and you need conditions on that plat. So they can be intertwined that way as well. But it needs to be understood that there is a difference between the two, that there's conditional approval, which means they're administrative and they don't need a hearing. And then there's approval with conditions, which means that they have to come back for a compliance hearing unless we extend the public hearing, and we don't. But anyways, compliance
So-
hearing to approve.
A nice little paragraph that says just that at the beginning of this section, I think would really help to direct the reader.
So it would say that the planning board can approve a site plan without conditions,
Yes,
conditionally approved, which means there's no compliance hearing, or approval with conditions, that means there is a compliance hearing, or a combination
Yes.
of the ones above. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that would cover it, something like that.
so in 7, I'm picturing A, B, C, conditional approval, approval with conditions, combination, I don't know what to call it yet.
Yeah,
And
or,
then,
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
so then, 6 would start with no substantial deviation.
Yeah, okay, let's see here. Yeah, it would, right, and that'd move everything exactly where it should be, because, right, it starts off with talking about conditions, and then it goes on to everything else, and it comes back
Yeah.
to conditions.
Which is why I think last meeting I was so lost, because I don't know why this is in this section.
Well, it's confusing enough, but,
Yeah.
right, breaking it up, yeah, that little orphan up in there, yeah, we need to bring it down to the family down below.
Okay, that gives me a clear goal, okay.
Scott,
Yes,
just so I'm clear on this, and this has happened to us before, we've approved a plan with conditional approval and so, but then after we've done this, and the clock has started, we've discovered that something else had to be changed on the plat as another condition. Do we reset the clock, or is it continuing?
we can't do it, you can't do that.
Well, we have done it.
But we weren't legally, it wasn't legal. When you have the public hearing and you attach a provision to the site plan that they have to do such and such in order to, comply with what the planning board says, so a condition of approval, then later on, after the public hearing is closed and the board voted to it, later on you decide something else, you can't go back and open up that public hearing and say that applicant has to meet this other condition because, gee, we just forgot about it the first time. You got to remember about it all the time, and if you approve it without that condition, then they don't have to comply with it, unless they want to apply with it. And we've had, applicants that say, okay, yeah, that's a good idea, we'll go ahead and do that. But, I mean, we can't do that legally under our RSAs, we can't. Once we've had the public hearing, we voted on the matter, unless the applicant is willing to do it.
Do we call it a reversible error?
I suppose you could argue that, but you could, be taken to court on that and say, no, that's not a reversible error. These guys looked at the whole site plan and it was all under review and they didn't think of it.
Wouldn't we need to renotice everybody too? I mean, there'd be the
Well-
whole public hearing requirements.
It'd have to be a resubmission too.
Yeah.
So, no, we can't do it, but what were you getting at anyways?
No, my point is,
That we've done that
we've
before.
done this.
Yeah, and we shouldn't have done it. I think I remember what you're talking about, and I don't think I was there at that time.
If we're not legally allowed to, but if we were able to call for a reversible error and presented it to our legal advisor, and he said, yes, you can do it, does the clock change?
That's a good question. It probably would change because you've put another condition onto the applicant where they have to do whatever hoop it is that you're asking them to jump through. So in all fairness, it should change, revert back to that approval. I mean, another approval, the
New date.
most recent approval, yeah.
My understanding is that it does change, because that new condition might cause a domino effect that would affect the other conditions.
It'd have to, yeah, in all fairness, right. It'd have to, but, it'd be very rare that we'd be able to do that, or that we should do that. It's just not fair to the applicants to do that.
No, I'm not saying,
We won't do that again.
I just want to bring it up, that's
Yeah.
all.
So let's see, anybody else have anything? I think we covered all that stuff there. Yeah, it's ongoing, yeah.
So when we get this to a more finalized state, I will schedule a public hearing. Because this will need a public hearing before anything is finalized.
Yep.
So I'm thinking a couple more meetings, then a public hearing, it'll probably finalize April.
Well, the board will have to vote for it to go to public hearing, so
Yeah.
we'll know that anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And how do you want to handle the waiver thing there, about the time thing? Do you want to reword that, or word it to what I was talking about, or what, just to give them the waiver? But it can't be prior to the granting the conditional approval, because it isn't, we didn't grant any approval at all, and when we do grant it, if it has conditions, it's a conditional approval. So you can't give them an extension prior to that.
I liked your language.
Do that,
That's fine.
okay.
Yeah, I saw no issue with it. If you want, I'm gonna take a picture of it before I leave today, just so I have all of it, but,
Okay.
unless the board has any other thoughts on it, I thought it was fine.
On anybody else have anything else on these site plan
My main thing is that first paragraph, the outline of it. right?
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense to clarify it because it's confusing to us. Think of what it is to somebody else reading it. Yeah. Okay. So where does that bring us to? Does that bring us to the last part of the meeting, everyone's favorite part of the meeting? I think so.
Unless you wants to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, there's a document last night at the select board. They had approved, SWRPC's proposal for a zoning ordinance audit. You'll see their scope of work in that document. Read it. If you have any questions, reach out. You guys will be seeing a rep from SWRPC. I don't know who yet, probably somebody you've seen before. And we'll go from there.
All right, good. Anything else from anyone? Any updates on any meetings or committees or any of that type of stuff?
Oh, a reminder that Saturday is, right here is to meet the candidates.
Yep, meet the
Our own
candidates.
Scott will be the moderator, God help us.
Yep, boy, oh boy, it's payback time now, boy.
And also on the 7th, the Governance Committee is having an information session on the warrant articles. We're going to try to have chairs in here like Scott and myself and some of the other department heads, that people can come in and talk to us about the warrant, and so they understand the warrant. That's the whole gist of it.
Okay.
The highway department's doing an open house the same day,
Oh, are they?
Same time, Mark?
Well,
9 to noon.
9 to noon.
and what time was yours?
This Saturday?
10 to 12.
10 to 12, yeah, so, well, maybe we ought to go down there. Well,
I've
get
been
out
down
of
there
here.
enough times. I know what he's talking about, so
Yeah,
I'm
I've been
not
down there
worried
too.
about it, but other people may want to see it.
All right, anything else then from anyone? Anybody of the public? I guess not.
Not a lot of public out there right now.
No? Only
I
one.
told you scared him away earlier.
He's hiding from us, so yeah, it's only one. So I guess the motion for adjournment would be in order.
I make that one. I'll second.
Motion for adjournment from Mark, is there a second? Second by Brandon, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, and we're done.